Hello students, today is 30th of August 2019. The news on which I will primarily talk about is that the CBI has sought the approval of the Speaker of Lok Sabha to prosecute 4 MPs of Trinamool Congress. These include 1 MP, the MP in the former Lok Sabha, and 3 are the sitting MPs. Now the question is why CBI needs to seek the permission of the Speaker for the prosecution. Now, if we look at the Prevention of Corruption Act, which was legislated by Parliament in the year 1988, and this has to be read along with the amendment that was made in 2018. Now, as per the provisions, as per the amendments which have been made, if the prosecution is to take place of an MP in some criminal case or in a corruption case, the permission has to be sought by the Speaker. This is true in the case of the Parliament, and same applies to any legislative assembly. Now, if we try to understand what will be the situation in case there is a bureaucrat involved in a corruption case. So, in case there is a bureaucrat, senior bureaucrat involved in a corruption case, then the permission has to be sought as per the Prevention of Corruption Act. Permission has to be sought from the highest authority in that particular department or ministry. There can be questions as to why this permission is to be obtained. There are some arguments in favor, some in against. Obviously, permission will keep a check on the unrestricted action against the bureaucrats or against the politicians, the MLAs and MPs. But on the other hand, there are ample number of cases where the permission would have been sought by CBI or other prosecuting agencies to the senior officers, and they would not have given permission for years. This means this is in a way shield for the corrupt officers, that if permission is not coming, they can never be prosecuted. So this is not in the interest of democratic values. If we further look into the Prevention of Corruption Act, the amendments which took place in 2018, there are 2 things which were added. One was the undue favor. Undue favor covers everything, whether something has been given, cash or kind, or any favor has been given, that also comes in the ambit of corruption. And another amendment, another provision which was added through the amendment is that the person who is giving the bribe is also held liable. This is very strange, because in a country like India, anybody who is giving bribe is always doing under pressure. So instead of acting against the person who is taking bribe, the action can now be taken under this amendment against the person who is offering the bribe. Now, coming to this news which I am talking about, this news is that few MPs were approached by some journalists, by some scribes, as part of a sting operation which is called as Narada sting operation, in which they offered certain amount to the MPs to ask certain questions. Those MPs accepted the money and asked the questions. Now, when they have been nabbed, the MPs' argument is that they collected the money as donation for the social cause. Now, whether this kind of argument can be accepted or not, this is something to be seen. Now, the MP who was there in the earlier Lok Sabha, now part of this Lok Sabha, the Prevention of Corruption Act says that whenever the corrupt act would have been committed, like in this case, it was committed between 2014 and 16. So, if that person was a member of House that time or was in position when he or she committed a crime, then the permission has to be obtained. Now, let me tell you something interesting about the sting operations, because sting operation is something which in journalism is very much prevalent. Earlier, it was too prevalent, and any journalism or the media student must understand this. The most famous, or rather I should say infamous sting operation happened of the same nature, exactly of the same nature, in 2005, when a leading Hindi news channel conducted this sting operation on 11 MPs. and the nature of this incident was the same, wherein some money was offered to these 11 MPs to ask questions in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha. They accepted the bribe. Finally, the Lok Sabha speaker of that time expelled them from the membership of the House. Later on, Lok Sabha decided to terminate their membership. This is a very, very unique case of this kind, wherein the parliament itself punished the MPs. So here you must also understand the powers of the parliament. The parliament has these kind of powers wherein they can throw their MPs out. No need of taking the case to the High Court and the Supreme Court. Though parliament has certain privileges also, wherein parliament can shield the MPs or MP can take shield of the parliament, but as per the latest practices and as per the few Supreme Court cases, no MP can claim immunity in the cases of in the criminal cases. So that kind of immunity is not available. And one more thing, very interesting thing, in the 2005 sting operation, not only the case was taken in the court against 11 MPs, but the case was also taken against 2 journalists for abetting the MPs to accept the money. Now, this is something which again comes under the ambit of corruption, not covered under the Prevention of Corruption Act, because Prevention of Corruption Act covers only the public servants. So bureaucrats are the public servants, since they are at the same time they are the civil servants. This has also been established in the amendment in the Act that MPs and MLAs are also the public servants, but ministers are not. But then ministers, being the MPs or MLAs, they are also part of this. So the thing which I was telling you, the action against the journalists, that could not stand in the court, because they were offering bribe or they were abetting commitment of the crime, that could not be established. That is all for today's edition.